Okay. Well, this is going to be my first YouTube live stream, and we'll see how well this works, if it works at all. So, essentially, the topic I was I was tagged in a status about this Senator McCain calling for the end-to-end encryption ban in the U.S., and I had actually said that I agree. I was okay with this. And so taking a look at the articles, one of the things that I notice is that McCain is calling for um, the article says that McCain is calling to ban all encryption and can't be decrypted by companies in the government at the federal level. So the long and the short of it is this is essentially the best that we're going to get. There's not going to be any kind of overarching encryption that is going to let us be completely secure. One of the arguments that is used is, well, it'll stop terrorism. No, it won't, but it may actually speed up the resolving or the endpoint to that terrorism point. So the thought is that terrorists can go end to end. Uh, Terrorists can go, they can stay dark the entire time that they want to communicate and everything, and that generally sounds mythical. Except if we enable it for ourselves, then we enable it for them as well. So, as we know, the whole secret encryption app that ISIS is supposed to have doesn't exist. It doesn't exist, and if it does exist, nobody really knows about it. Or if they know about it, then they're not talking about it. That being said, the idea here is that the government and companies can decrypt the data that's going across. Right now, we have the TAO, the Tailored Access Operations Unit of the NSA, and we have other acronyms that belong to the Department of Defense and that belong to the NSA and the FBI. We have other acronyms that we don't even know about. So that's happening. That's going to happen. The sad part about it is that they're gonna get their data. And uh, I know the argument is going to be, well, if you have nothing to hide, then why give up your um, why give up your privacy if you don't have anything to hide? The long and the short of it is that these guys are going to do what these guys are going to do. So the Taylor Access Operations, the DoD, the CIA, the FBI, and all these other companies or acronyms that are out there are going to get the data. If they have to build fake buildings that allow, if they have to build fake buildings to allow people to tap into the wire, then that's what they'll do. They're just going to do it. There's no short way around it. However, um, by having these keys, whenever they find operators of ISIS or they find agents, however you want to describe them, right? Whenever they find them in areas that they want to investigate, like right now, they were to go through iChat or messages, which you can almost be willing to bet 100% guaranteed flat out they're using Apple products because of the encryption. Right now, they have to go through the FISA court. The FISA court has to come up with the FISA court has to come up with warrants that give them access to go into their tool set to be able to get the metadata, to be able to track it down to the provider, to be able to petition the provider for the information that's in depth. And by that time, you've already lost data. You already have had a potentially you already have had a incident happen. Where this comes in on the McCain level is TAO or um, whenever the TAO or whenever the FBI or the CIA have a target, they no longer have to dig around and they no longer have to beat up on doors. They can just request it. And so, if there was an event that was going to occur, then yeah, definitely they can sit there and say, okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this. And we're going to beat up on it. And then we're going to get the data. And then we're going to track it down. And hopefully by that point, we know enough. With what McCain is requesting is that whenever they have a target, they can say, we're going to go after this target. Uh, Apple, Verizon, Google, we need the data from these devices. Again, I am not in any means of the word even suggesting that law abiding Americans should give up their rights. Because unfortunately, and we all know this, those rights are given away anyways. You have the right to privacy. The government says, well, here's a Patriot Act and here's a FISA court order. We're just going to go ahead and override all this stuff anyways. It really doesn't matter. So sadly, you're kind of barking up the wrong tree. Yeah, it's not really the way that things should work, but it's the way that they are. These agencies exist if nothing for their own funding. And so that being said, it's almost better to streamline the process because once you're at that point, then TAO, DOD, CIA, they don't need to hack your stuff anymore. They don't need to go in and tap into Verizon, and they don't need to go in and go into Apple or Google and say we need access to your messages server. They are just going to be able to petition it right off the bat and get that turnaround point. So again, I am not in any means saying, well, just give them whatever you want. Here's my cell phone. Um, you know, here's my cell phone. You guys can have it and do whatever. But if it comes down to streamlining the process, then I realize it's almost taking the lesser of two evils, but if the lesser of two evils is one step closer to someone not if I give someone a key to my house and I say, "Look, I really kind of don't want you coming in my house, but if you're going to, instead of kicking the door in, just use the key," then that saves me money on replacing a door and the door jamb and the lock and the stress and everything about it. If I say, look, I will give my landlord the key. If you need to come in, go to my landlord and he will let you in. It may not be what I want, but if he lets you in for some reason, then it's his house. You know, that being said, uh, come on in. Taking the it's his house part out of it, our privacy is our privacy. Um, it's apparently not our privacy. So that being said, we could get really, really, really upset and say, no, you can't have this, and they will take it anyways. This is the Department of Defense. This is a national security agency. As sad as it sounds, they do not subscribe to the idea of supervision, and they do not really answer to anyone. So it's almost as if saying, yes, you can have the keys, but you have to explain why, for one, and two, you have to say what you're going to do with it, and three, you have to have probable cause. At that point, then maybe at that point, then maybe putting the key under the rock, and the rock being Apple or Google or whatever, and saying, if you want it, there it is, but you're not allowed to get it without a whole bunch of problems, then maybe that might streamline some processes. Consider as well, if with this process, the TAO is disbanded because the NSA could just request this, then perhaps it's a means to an end. Um, yeah, there's always going to be the naysayers that say, well, you shouldn't be doing this. Well, I don't want you to be going into it, and I don't want you to. The sad part is that it's almost to the point of, sorry, too bad, so sad. They're going to do it anyways. Eh, I've worked with these guys. They are going to come in and they are going to hook up and they are going to pull whatever they need to or whatever they feel that they want to that will help them do their mission. And whenever they show up at a site with military or civilian, they are carrying a legal team. And if it's military, they fall within your chain of command. Or they've talked to your chain of command and they're just going to do it anyways. So at a certain point, if you can back that out and say, you know, we have a hidden key over here, and yeah, we really prefer that you not do that, then that's just gonna be the way that is. There it's gonna it may help to that extent. Asking for a backdoor in a system. The backdoors have happened. The backdoors are going to happen. NSA altered the PGP algorithm. They modified and altered Juniper networks. That goes. eh, I'm telling you right now, Cisco's already tied up with them. Juniper, if they are a provider that provides security resources or security services, then you can bet the NSA, the FBI, the CIA, they are already embedded. Not so much like one person, but they have a contact that says, okay, we need to get this data. Let's go ahead and request it. They knock on the door of the company, they hand them a sheet of paper, and the company gives it to them. And that's because at some point there is some regulatory process, some regulation, someone somewhere who is intimidated by this organization. Sure, should it happen that way? Not at all. But it's gonna happen. I mean, it's gonna happen. It's the way that humanity sadly works. You have a guy that is in charge of a house and he has a stick. The guy who wants his house is going to bring a gun. The guy who wants the house back is going to bring a bigger gun, and it's going to continue. And I know that's a really bad analogy with the gun laws and gun usage in America, but the long and the short of it is that since humanity has started on this planet, they have always wanted bigger and better, more and more and more. It's just the way we are. The sad part about this is that it impacts our kids and our children and our spouses and our significant others. And so you have these You had the founding fathers that set up a government. You had the people that follow along with the government. You had the people that, as we evolved as a nation, said, no, I don't really want to participate in this line, that line, and this line. And the sad part about it is then you have the elected officials, the people that the 10 or 20 other people out there outride your vote, come back and say, nah, but I like his idea. And so that's what happens. I'm not in any way, shape, or form trying to advocate for the loss of privacy. I'm not trying to upsell some program that says, hey, this is where we're at and, get on the ball or don't. But, uh, you know, that being said, you could get upset. You could get pissed off about it. But at a certain point, it's just going to come down to, it's going to happen. People go be who people go be. It's just the way it is. All right. This is first rant. I'm going to encode this, stick it up on my channel. I'll link to it on my Facebook and my YouTube and whatever, and we'll see where it goes from there. Thanks for watching if you do. Till next time. Bye.